What's going on YouTube? It's your man Soul here. We're back with another video. Today I gotta talk about Warcraft Tavern. If you don't know what Warcraft Tavern is, it is a community site that promotes class guides, raid guides, all that stuff, profession guides, so on and so forth for the various versions of WoW. We have Vanilla, TBC, the upcoming Wrath of the Lich King, and current Shadowlands retail, right? The reason I'm doing this video is because Warcraft Tavern really needs help with their information. They need to do some due diligence. Obviously, some people have heard of Warcraft Tavern because Warcraft Tavern is despite all its faults, a very popular site. Chances are, when you're trying to look up Wrath of the Lich King information, this is one of the first sites that are coming up because it's really the only site currently that has the consolidated Wrath information until we get updates from ICC and ICC. Before we get updates from Icy Veins and Wowhead, Warcraft Tavern is kind of the one-stop shop. But the problem is, it's bad information. And like information is like drugs. People will go to wherever the product is good. So if Warcraft Tavern has the block right now, nobody's pumping on their block because they got the one drug. The drug is the Wrath of the Lich King information. And yes, we have YouTube videos. Yes, we have Google. But guess what? Sometimes those things just don't cut it. Sometimes you don't want to click on a video and sit there and watch it. Sometimes you just want to read what you want to know and get on with life. And right now, Warcraft Tavern has the monopoly on the block. They got the drug. They the hottest in the streets, and they moving them units. So I'm here to dispel a little bit of information about Warcraft Tavern. Now, one thing I want to say is if you are an author or you are the moderator or you're the owner of Warcraft Tavern, I'm not innately trying to shit on your website. All I'm asking you is that the information that you provide, the authors that you hire, just make sure they're doing their due diligence to research. Because some of your guides are pretty horrendous. A lot of your guides are pretty horrendous. The profession stuff is cool. The DPS rankings is whatever. The guides, like the actual like boss guides and stuff like that, fine. Reputation guides, fine. Whatever. But some of these class guides are sketchy, and y'all know that. So all I'm asking is that when you hire an author or you hire somebody to write a page up, just make sure they are doing their due diligence with the research. Because I know whenever I put a video out, like for all of my tank videos, like for all of my healer videos that I've posted or upcoming, I try to do as much research as I possibly can. I try to do research that's steeped in experience, talking to people, various mediums that I'm viewing or reading, and then I consolidate all of that, and then I put out the content. And I'm not saying I'm the font of knowledge for every single class and every single thing about WoW, but I try my best to do the research and I put it out there. And if I don't know something, I will say, hey, listen, I don't know this. I haven't been able to cross-reference this enough, but I'm going to put this information out for you to maybe expound upon and try it yourself. I don't have a problem being wrong. Listen, the know-it-all knows nothing, and I'm definitely not a know-it-all. I will be the first person to tell you I don't know everything. But when I'm putting out information, just know that I've given it my solid effort to make sure it's steeped in facts. And I'm going to show you something that's definitely not steeped in facts that kind of set me off. And really it's what started my recreation of the talent builds for Wrath of the Lich King and starting to do Wrath content. So we're going to go to the Death Knight build because as we all know, Soul is a Death Knight fanboy. Death Knight is my favorite class, hands down. Not just because Wrath class got announced. I've been playing a Death Knight for years. It is my favorite class for a long time. For about 2 to 3 expansions, I only had a Death Knight. I had no other alts because I was just having so much fun as a Death Knight. Death Knight was my only class. So Death Knight is in Dragonflight. I'm going to level my Death Knight first. It is my favorite class. Sure, all the other classes are cool. I like Death Knight. Call it how it is. So before I started playing on private servers, before I started dabbling in recreating Wrath content for YouTube, I was thinking, hey, I want to find out some information on Wrath because Wrath for me was a while ago. Wrath came out in 2008. So, and I was still in high school in 2008, and I'm far beyond my high school years now. So I went to refresh myself on some of the information in Wrath. So I started looking at the Death Knight stuff, and then obviously I was a Death Knight for all of Wrath, so some stuff I did remember. And then as I kept reading, I was like, that don't sound right. I don't remember doing this. So we're gonna look at the Death Knight tanking guide, and this guide is really what started me doing the Wrath content, and why my first video from a long hiatus was the Blood Death Knight talent build, because of this. So let's look at this talent setup. So here we have, the author says, this is a core build for a Death Knight main tank. 4 talent points are left, and I suggest to spend them for Dancing Rune Weapon, 3/3 Morbidity, or get 3/3 Scent of Blood. Obviously, if you've seen the video, or you're a Death Knight, or you've seen Death Knights, you already know that this Dancing Rune Weapon thing is a immediate red flag. And why? So why is that Dancing Rune Weapon an immediate red flag? Number one, Dancing Rune Weapon is a horrible talent because, one, it has no defensive benefit for the Death Knight tank. It doesn't do anything. Number two, it does 50% of your damage. And if you're a tank, you're not doing that much damage anyway. So half of your already shitty damage is horrible. Not worth the talent point. Now, I will say this. I've seen this talent build before, and this has been changed, because before they used to recommend, they already had this filled out. You see how this is a 0? This was 1 before. So somebody's done something. But anyway, that's a big red flag. So if you're a person who's never played Wrath, and you don't know how Death Knights start out, and you come to this guide, because again, this site is one of the top sites that's going to come up if you Google search Wrath of the Lich King talents. This information is going to be accessible to you, and this information is wrong. So let's go a little bit deeper. All right, so 3/3 Morbidity, I'm not mad at. 3/3 Scent of Blood is whatever. What I would have liked is for them to explain these two talents. I mean, Morbidity is a decent talent, but it's really for dungeon speedrunning or dungeons or raids with a lot of trash, like Nax. So you want to cut down some of those trash pulls. Other than that, it's not really that impactful, but I'm not mad at the people getting 3/3. Scent of Blood, same thing. Like, it doesn't change the chance of getting more rune power. It just generates more rune power when you it changes your auto attack hits. Instead of 1, if you max it out, it gets 3. So whatever, here's it. But then I look at this talent build. I'm like, all right, let's kick it off. We got Blade Barrier 5 of 5, right? Actually, just so I can I know these talents kind of name, like, I know the name of these talents by heart, so it's easy for me to just mouse over them and just be like, all right, I know this is Blade Barrier, this is Subversion, this is 200 weapon specialization, Scent of Blood, Bladed Armor, Rune Tap, Conviction, Deathwind Mastery, Spell Deflection, Vendetta, Veteran of the Third War. I know these talents, but just in case you clicked on this video and you don't know, let's click on it and let's actually look at the build. Okay, so we got, Jesus Christ, these are a lot of ads. That's what we got. Anyway, we got Blade Barrier, 5 of 5. I'm fine with that. Subversion, first head scratch. Increases the critical strike chance of Blood Strike, Scourge Strike, Hard Strike, Obliterate, and reduces the threat generated in Blood or Unholy by 25%. You can ignore that secondary part right there. Ignore that. That doesn't do anything. Let's look at the primary part, Deformer. Increases the critical strike chance of Blood Strike. Okay, you might think, okay. Scourge Strike we don't have, ignore that. Hard Strike we shouldn't have, ignore that. Obliterate we don't use. So realistically, this is only increasing the critical strike chance of your Blood Strike by 9%. Huh? That's not real. But again, he said it was an option, so we're gonna cut him some slack. Let's go down. 5 of 5 Blade Armor. Okay, cool. 2 or 3 Scent of Blood. Whatever. I'm fine with that. 2 out of 2 two-handed weapon specialization. So I've said in my video, this is talent you really don't need, because this talent, increasing your weapon damage with two-handed weapons by 4%, does not do more threat than Icy Touch, so this doesn't matter in the long scheme. Granted, not everybody knows that, because Death Knights were marketed as the big guys who use the big two-handed weapons and yada yada yada. Got you, fam. Don't need that. So we got Red Flag 1, Red Flag 1 and 2, Red Flag 3. Deathwind Mastery, cool. Dark Conviction, cool. No Rune Tap? Huh? Okay. No Spell Deflection? Huh? Okay. Skip Vendetta, that's fine. Skip Mark of Blood, that's fine. You got Veteran Third War, got Abomination's Mind, got Dark Vengeance, Bloody Vengeance, my bad. Got Hysteria. You skip these two, which is fine. They're just minimal healing. I'm cool with that. You get Vampiric Blood. You get Improved Death Strike. You get Will of Necropolis. You get Hard Strike, which is kind of a red flag too, because again, I can understand getting Hard Strike and getting two-handed weapon specialization, because these are like staples, right? These are staples from when Death Knights were broken. But because, again, Icy Touch doesn't do, Heart Strike doesn't do more threat than Icy Touch, you don't need it. You can put that talent elsewhere. And then we have Might of Mulgrain, increasing critical strike damage bonus to your Blood Boil, Blood Strike, Death Strike, and Heart Strike. Waste. We don't stat crit, so who cares? Who cares about increasing our critical damage bonus? The Blood Boil might be cool, but who cares? Blood Gorge. When you're above 75%, you deal 10% more damage. Bruh, you're a tank. This is going to be a lot of times where you're under 75%. You're a tank, bro. Granted, it's okay. In addition, your attacks are over 10%, so basically give you 10% armor pen at all times. That's fine. Cool. But this talent, 5 out of 5, you're not going to see that first effect very often. It's not that strong of a threat talent. Even if you want to argue that the 10% armor pen is for threat, it's really not that strong. It's really not that strong. So I gotta point it out. And then if we go back to the guide, let's look at the reasoning. Then he goes to say, actually, Scent of Blood is needed for 1 of 3. So you can spend, rest you can spend somewhere else if you think it's better. I'm coming to this guide for you. What you mean if I think it's better? If I think something's better, then why did I come to the guide in the first place? Moving on. Subversion is optional. We already talked about how horrendous getting Subversion is. Then he says, you can take Rune Tap or Spell Deflection. But the Rune Tap heal isn't that much. One healer will do the same with one direct healing spell easily, and that Spell Reflect isn't that much practical too.
Stop the cap.
Okay. First things first, Rune Tap heal isn't that much, fam. It's 10% of your max health. It's 10% of your max health. If you have 50k health, it's going to heal you for 5k. If you have 100k health, it's going to heal you for 10k. Like, what? How is that not, like, what? Now, his comment isn't innately wrong. One healer can do the same with a direct healing spell. But, let's be honest. If I can save a GCD, if I can save a mana cost, if I can just be more efficient as a tank, why wouldn't I be? Why would I choose not to be? That makes no sense. To get Subversion? No fucking way. And then Spell Deflection. Literally the talent that makes us one of the premier Magic tanks. Second, in my opinion, best because of AMS. But some people say that Prop Paladin is the best because of their amazing amount of damage, passive DRs. So they could be looked at as the best Magic tank. But in my opinion, that honor goes to Death Knights. Spell Reflect isn't that much practical. Are we not playing Wrath of the Lich King? Do we not know that there's mad magic damage in Wrath of the Lich King? Do we not know that damn near every tier has a Dragon Breath, which is straight up direct magic tank damage? Every single boss is, oh, not every single boss, my bad, but almost every single raid, there's a boss with just straight up magic tank damage. Like, what? And you're telling me getting that 9% for that Blood Strike is better than getting a 45% chance to take less direct spell damage in Wrath of the Lich King? What? No way. So that happened, and then we're gonna go down to, we're gonna skip this Mark of Blood thing. Like, honestly, y'all know my feelings on Mark of Blood. It's not the most impactful talent, but you can take it as an option. Basically, that's what he's saying. Like, he's saying not to take it because bosses hit hard and slow. Like, bruh, stop, bruh. All right, moving on to the part that just blew me out the water. Glyphs. Here we have Glyph of Rune Strike, Glyph of Vamp Blood, Glyph of Death Strike. Glyph of Vamp Blood is not bad. Glyph of Rune Strike and Death Strike, bro, if you want to be a DPS, just play Frost and Unholy. You'll save yourself a lot of headache. Now, I'm going to caveat that statement with this. I know we live in a parse world where people are going to want to high parse as tanks. That's just the nature of the beast. As a tank right now, I'm a tank right now in TBC. As a tank, I make the checklist. Can I hold threat? Check. Can I take a hit without dying? Check. The next best thing is, hey, how much damage can I push? People are going to want to parse naturally. But as a tank, your first idea should not be how much damage you can do. These are DPS glyphs. Despite the fact that Glyph of Rune Strike is a terrible glyph. The Glyph of Death Strike isn't a bad glyph, but again, it's a DPS glyph. Get Glyph of Taunt, Glyph of Dark Command. Get Glyph of Rune Tap. Get Glyph of AMS. Get Glyph of Icebound Fortitude. Get something that's going to help you survive and do your role. Not these stupid, not even, I can't even call them ancillary glyphs because they don't help support anything. So that's my thing with Warcraft Tavern. This was really the video that the build that kind of made me go, okay, if I found this guy just as easily as the next man can, and it's just riddled with misinformation, I got to do something. I got to do something. So this Death Knight guide really kind of put me on to just putting up videos. And Death Knight isn't the only guide that has some egregious things in it. I've seen some rotations where some of the recommendations are pretty bad. So honestly, because of the Death Knight guide being so egregious, I shudder to think about some of the other ones. And with that being said, I want to end this video with kind of a small PSA. Well, first I want to start out by talking to Malphys, the author. Fam, I know you probably were hired to write the guide and, do the research and stuff like that, but the work you put out here, there's some holes in them. So all I'm saying to you, Malphys, my brother, is make sure when you're writing these guides, do some diligent research. That's all. That's all. Because guess what? Not everything in this build is bad. You got some of the key stuff right, but you missed some really big shit. Like, it's crazy. So if this video comes across your eyes, do better in the future. Warcraft Tavern, the next message is for you. Make sure when you hire an author and they put up some guides, make sure it's not some bullshit. And that's it. That's it. Please. Please. Please, please, please. I'm not trying to completely shit on Warcraft Tavern, and honestly, a lot of people already know Warcraft Tavern is on some time, on some funniness, real funny style, but my message to Warcraft Tavern is not to shut down or to whatever the case may be. Just be better. If you really want to have a community site, just be better. That's it. That's it. Be better. Be better about the information that you put out, because if you want to call yourself a community site and want to have all these things and stuff like that, make sure the information that you have is steeped in some facts, because right now it's not. That's really all for the video, guys. Like and subscribe if you want to see more content. I want to say thank you to all of my recent subscribers. You guys are amazing. Everybody's amazing. I appreciate it all. Once again, if you find yourself looking at Warcraft Tavern as we all sit in the Wrath Classic waiting room, take that shit with a cup of salt, man, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. I mean, that, or you could just wait for the real sites like Icy Veins and Wildhead to do their thing. But again, if you're trying to prepare for like pre-patch and shit like that, just be easy with looking at Warcraft Tavern. That's all. But that's it for the video, guys. You guys have been great. I've been Soul, and I'm out. Peace.